93 Boxing, back with another video. So it looks like it's Deontay Wilder that's been avoiding Anthony Joshua all along. I was initially wrong. I initially thought it was Anthony Joshua or Team Joshua or Eddie Hearn that was avoiding Wilder for Anthony Joshua. And this may still be true though, because Anthony Joshua is what Eddie Hearn's biggest asset in terms of making money. And if Eddie Hearn loses a bit of Anthony Joshua hype, then he might not be able to make the same level of money. There's a risk there, right? Anthony Joshua can generate big money from fighting decent competition where the risk is not as high as if he took someone like Deontay Wilder. The thing is this, right? I started to have doubts though. I started to have doubts on who's actually ducking who, because I started to realize that there was an offer made to Deontay Wilder, where Dillian Whyte versus Wilder, right? And Dillian Whyte was one of the top mandatories for WBC, and I think at one point he was the number one, and Deontay Wilder never faced him. Deontay Wilder was given, I believe, a big offer. I can't remember the exact number of how much money he was offered, maybe a couple million or something like that. And Deontay Wilder ducked him. And what's this guy's name? DeBella or some guy, Louis, I don't even know, man. Some representative for Deontay Wilder. He was asked the question. He's like, but who the fuck is Dillian Whyte? So he clearly didn't want to fight Dillian Whyte, and that was a red flag for me at the time. But I didn't want to think that it was Deontay Wilder ducking, because I don't know, man. Eddie Hearn has been maneuvering some of his fighters very suspiciously, in the sense of very trying to avoid the best competition. But he didn't do that with all of his fighters, though. And one thing I've realized is if a fighter wants a certain fight, Eddie Hearn gives it to them. Like, Khan versus Crawford. Eddie Hearn wanted the Brook fight, but he made the Crawford fight because, well, one thing would be that Brook fight will always be there. But more importantly, when your star is talking that big, if he doesn't get what he wants, he might actually move on to another promotional team. And he gave this fight. He gave Khan the Crawford fight, which will be another video. But for Wilder to not take Dillian Whyte fight was a complete red flag. It was a complete red flag. Because this is, I believe, before the Luis Ortiz fight. Deontay Wilder did not have a good resume, and Dillian Whyte would probably be the biggest and the best fighter that he's facing. Probably the biggest fighter that he's facing, and the biggest payday. Why would he not take the Dillian, and especially when Dillian Whyte is one of the top mandatories, why would you not take it? Why not? When you're saying that all these fighters from Russia are failing drug tests, and that's the reason why you haven't fought all these fighters. Why would you not take the Dillian Whyte fight then? That was a red flag for me. And then now we've come to find out that Deontay Wilder rejected over $100 million and is now fighting Dominic Brazil for not as much. He would have made more money fighting Anthony Joshua, obviously, but he clearly doesn't seem like he wants to do that. And when Anthony Joshua speaks, right? For example, when Anthony Joshua spoke about, because I remember when Deontay Wilder says they wouldn't let him in the ring after Anthony Joshua beats Joseph Parker. But then when Anthony Joshua spoke about this, he's like, well, the fight is not confirmed, so why would he get in the ring? The only time that Joshua let someone in the ring is Klitschko, and that's when the fight was confirmed. That makes sense. Wherever Anthony Joshua spoke, when he spoke, it made complete sense to me. I think he was very transparent, and it became very clear who was ducking who. And to top everything off, right, I think Anthony Joshua is the one that's searching Wilder more than Wilder searching Joshua, or at least Team Joshua searching Wilder more than Team Wilder searching Joshua. Because Anthony Joshua has fought better competition, that's a fact. A lot of Americans like to deny this. A lot of Americans like to overlook this, but the fact is, Anthony Joshua's resume is way better than everyone else's in boxing, in heavyweight boxing. Irrespective if Tyson beat Klitschko, irrespective if he fought Wilder. Look at the amount of fights he had compared to all of these fighters. About half the amount of fights. And he fought the names. He fought Joseph Parker. He fought Klitschko. He fought. And even the top level fighters that he hasn't fought, he still fought decent competition. Carlos Takam, Dillian White. There's a few other names that I'm missing out. Eric Molina, Dominic Brazil. He's fought good fighters. His resume is way better than everyone else's. Everyone else just has one or two really good names, and that's really it. But Anthony Joshua has consistently fought better competition within a shorter amount of time and shorter amount of fights. So, yeah, man, I definitely will be rooting for Anthony Joshua. He's not only from the UK, but also I feel like he's done it the harder way. He definitely has done it the harder way. And yeah, man, when you get a Dillian White fight and you don't take it, that's like a red flag. And now it all makes sense. It looks like Deontay Wilder was the one that was ducking. But that's all I have to say about the situation with Wilder and Brazil and everything. 93 Boxing, I'm out.